Lena finished the difficult project alone to prove a point. She could work independently. The security video helped prove innocence by showing that Omar was in another building during the theft. The fingerprints on the stolen safe were strong enough to prove guilt in court. The new medicine lowered every patient's fever and may prove effective against the infection. The paper map began to prove useful when our phone batteries died. The laboratory results prove conclusively that the drinking water contains lead. The dated photograph helped confirm a claim that the painting had been in the family for decades. A second research team repeated the study to confirm findings from the first experiment. Fresh muddy footprints by the broken window seemed to confirm suspicions of an intruder. The officer checked the driver's passport to confirm identity before allowing entry. The doctor ordered a blood test to confirm a diagnosis of diabetes. Please reply to the email to confirm receipt of the signed contract. The reporter checked public records to verify a claim made by the candidate. An editor compared every quotation with the recording to verify accuracy. Call the bank directly to verify information in any message asking for money. The website sent a code to my phone to verify identity before opening my account. The scientist ran the test 3 more times to verify results from the first trial. Outside experts will independently verify the company's report instead of relying on its own review. Several clear photographs support a claim that the rare bird has returned to the island. The writer used historical records to support an argument about the cause of the war. The survey results support a conclusion that most residents want a new park. Recent safety reports support a decision to replace the old bridge. Parents strongly support the plan because it will make the school crossing safer. All committee members fully support the proposal and will vote for it. The researcher used test data to defend a claim that the material was fire-resistant. During the debate, Mia cited 3 studies to defend a position on renewable energy. You must provide reliable evidence to defend an argument against close questioning. The mayor held a press conference to defend a decision to close the unsafe stadium. The legal guide explains how to defend one's rights when a landlord acts illegally. The company promised to vigorously defend its patent against the competing claim. Most council members endorse a proposal to build a safer bicycle lane. The Teachers Association decided to endorse a candidate who promised more school funding. The athlete agreed to endorse a product by appearing in its advertisements. Several leading scientists endorse a view that early action will reduce climate risks. The actor chose to publicly endorse the charity at a televised event. The Medical Association will officially endorse the treatment after its final safety review. The newly discovered letter helps reinforce an argument that the 2 leaders met secretly. Similar results from 3 countries reinforce a conclusion that the program works. The teacher repeated the safety rule to reinforce a message about wearing protective glasses. Every successful rescue helped reinforce a belief that the training was valuable. Giving praise immediately can reinforce behavior that a teacher wants students to repeat. Engineers added steel beams to reinforce a structure damaged by the earthquake. After examining the same evidence, both experts agree with a conclusion that the signature is genuine. I agree with an argument for later school hours because rested students learn better. The buyer and seller must agree on terms before they sign the contract. The workers will agree to a proposal if it includes safer working conditions. The 2 sides agree in principle, although they still need to settle the final price. The doctors broadly agree that regular exercise improves heart health. The jury decided to accept the evidence because several witnesses confirmed it. Most researchers accept a conclusion only after the results have been repeated. The manager chose to accept responsibility and apologized for the team's mistake. Nina will accept an offer of employment and start her new job next month. After the final vote was counted, the candidate had to accept defeat. Children readily accept the simple explanation because it matches what they can see. The board will approve a proposal only if it includes a clear budget. Safety inspectors must approve a plan before construction can begin. The council voted to approve a budget that funds 2 new fire engines. The bank may approve an application after checking the customer's income. The committee will formally approve the report by recording its vote in the minutes. All 12 members unanimously approve the resolution, so no one votes against it. Independent measurements validate a claim that the new battery lasts twice as long. A larger study is needed to validate findings from the small initial experiment. The laboratory used a second method to validate results from the original test. Customer interviews can validate an assumption that people need the new service. Researchers compared it with an established test to validate a method for measuring stress. Astronomers gathered new observations to validate a theory about how the planet formed. The appeals court found no legal error and decided to uphold a verdict of guilty. The review panel will uphold a decision if it followed all the rules. The higher court chose to uphold a ruling that protected the historic building. Judges must uphold the law even when a decision is unpopular. Regular inspections help the hospital uphold standards of cleanliness and safety. She refused the bribe to uphold a principle of honesty in public service. After seeing the new figures, Leo had to concede a point his opponent had made. When victory became impossible, the general chose to concede defeat. The debater would not concede an argument until the opposing side produced clear proof. The team did not concede a goal, so it won the match 1-0. The candidate called her opponent to concede an election after the votes were counted. Faced with the video evidence, the witness had to reluctantly concede that his memory was wrong. Receipts and bank records helped substantiate a claim that the payment had been made. Investigators found no witnesses or documents to substantiate an allegation of fraud. Fossil evidence may substantiate a theory that the animals once lived near water. Repeated experiments are required to substantiate findings from the first study. The journalist used photographs and official records to substantiate a report about illegal dumping. Accurate statistics can substantiate an argument for expanding the health program. A time-stamped video can corroborate a claim that the delivery arrived on Monday. Phone records helped corroborate testimony given by the witness in court. Investigators searched for fingerprints to corroborate evidence from the security camera. 2 passengers corroborate an account of how the bus accident occurred. Several neighbors corroborate a story that they heard an alarm at midnight. A separate laboratory repeated the tests to corroborate findings from the research team. Even his critics acknowledge a fact: the new policy reduced waiting times. The company finally had to acknowledge the evidence linking its factory to the pollution. The first step toward fixing the leak is to acknowledge a problem exists. The driver chose to acknowledge responsibility for causing the accident. The author named the research assistant to acknowledge a contribution to the book. When the score reached 6-0, the player began to acknowledge defeat. The suspect decided to admit guilt and tell the police exactly what he had done. Priya had to admit a mistake after checking the calculation again. The chess player tipped over his king to admit defeat. The contractor would not admit responsibility for the damage until photographs were shown. The director chose to openly admit that the project was over budget. After seeing the correct answer, Ken had to reluctantly admit that his classmate was right. The latest test results affirm a conclusion that the bridge is structurally safe. The appeals court voted to affirm a decision made by the lower court. Her volunteer work helped affirm a belief that small actions can improve a community. The president called the ally to affirm support during the crisis. Both countries signed the agreement to affirm a commitment to peace. After reviewing the trial, the higher court chose to affirm a verdict of guilty. Official weather records refute a claim that it never rained during the entire summer. The Economist used employment data to refute an argument that the policy destroyed jobs. The receipt helped refute an allegation that Maya had kept the money. New fossil evidence may refute a theory about when the species disappeared. The team published its safety record to refute criticism of its training program. DNA evidence can conclusively refute the accusation by showing that the sample came from someone else. One clear counterexample is enough to disprove a theory that claims the rule has no exceptions. The dated ticket helped disprove a claim that the traveler was in Paris that day. Security footage may disprove an allegation that the employee entered the locked room. Unexpected test results can disprove a hypothesis and lead scientists to a new explanation. The successful trial helped disprove an assumption that older adults could not use the app. Simple experiments disprove a myth that all heavy objects fall faster than light ones. The company released audited figures to rebut a claim that it had hidden its losses. Sarah cited lower accident rates to rebut an argument against the new safety rule. The witness produced emails to rebut an allegation that he had approved the payment. The principal used improved test scores to rebut criticism of the reading program. The defense called its own expert to rebut evidence presented by the prosecutor. A tenant can use rent receipts to rebut a presumption that no payment was made. The lawyer used a clear timeline to counter an argument made by the other side. Independent test results counter a claim that the device is unsafe. The mayor listed completed projects to counter criticism that nothing had improved. The army moved additional troops to counter an attack at the border. The company improved its computer security to counter a threat from hackers. Drinking water and resting in the shade can counter the effects of extreme heat. The empty attendance record appears to contradict a claim that he was at the meeting. The camera footage seems to contradict a statement the driver gave to police. His explanation does not fit and may contradict the evidence collected at the scene. Phone data can contradict testimony about where the witness was that evening. Results from the larger study contradict findings reported in the earlier experiment. It is easy to contradict oneself by saying something now that conflicts with an earlier statement. The journalist asked for documents to challenge a claim made without evidence. The successful older athletes challenge an assumption that strength always disappears with age. New data may challenge a conclusion drawn from the much smaller study. Residents can challenge a decision by asking the court to review it. The officer punished anyone who dared to challenge authority or question his orders. The business plans to legally challenge the new rule in court. The insurer may contest a claim if the accident report contains false information. The student can contest a decision by submitting an appeal to the review board. The defense plans to contest a verdict because important evidence was excluded. 3 candidates will contest an election for mayor next month. Two experienced politicians will contest a seat in Parliament. A relative may contest a will by arguing that the signature is not genuine. The manufacturer continues to deny a claim that its product caused the fire. The coach used attendance records to deny an allegation that he missed practice. The shipping company tried to deny responsibility for the damaged package. Both suspects deny involvement and say they were nowhere near the robbery. The guard will deny access to anyone who cannot show an identification card. The minister chose to categorically deny the rumor, stating clearly that it was completely false. The court may reject a claim when no evidence supports it. The committee decided to reject an argument based on inaccurate figures. Scientists will reject a conclusion if later experiments fail to repeat the result. Residents voted to reject a proposal that would remove the public playground. Liam will reject an offer because the salary is lower than he expected. The board will firmly reject any plan that puts workers in danger. A forged signature could invalidate a claim to ownership of the house. If the central statistic is false, it may invalidate an argument based on that number. A serious error in the experiment could invalidate a conclusion drawn from its results. Using an unclean test tube may invalidate a result by contaminating the sample. Fraud can invalidate a contract and release the victim from its terms. Opening the sealed device yourself may invalidate a warranty and end free repair coverage. The fact-checker used official records to debunk a claim shared online. The science demonstration helped debunk a myth that lightning never strikes the same place twice. Satellite images may debunk a theory that the island suddenly moved. A live video from the singer helped debunk a rumor that she was in the hospital. Health experts created a simple guide to debunk misinformation about vaccines. The investigation used documents, videos, and witness accounts to thoroughly debunk the false story.